you plan on spending somewhere between $50,000 to $70,000 on a four-door sedan, you have a lot of options, like a lot of options. And one of the options that we have here today is this 2017 Cadillac CTS. This is the 2.0 liter turbocharged engine and the luxury trim. So, kind of walking around it, this has the carbon black package too, so all of the exterior amenities are there. You get the Pirelli P0s, which are absolutely ridiculous when you're actually punching this thing, which is going to be a lot because it looks sweet. But it also has the black chrome grille here too. And this all comes on the carbon black package. It's got the grille, the rims, and there's a whole bunch of stuff on the interior that we'll get to. But sticking with the exterior here, we got it in the proper black. This is the sharpest color you can probably get a CTS in. And the CTS in itself is probably one of the most special Cadillacs here, just because this is the car that really kicked off Cadillac's whole remodeling program. I mean, back with like the 2006 one, which was the original CTS, it was for handling and performance driving, all that good stuff. And then after that, they redesigned it, made the coupe version. So the CTS really piloted the whole Cadillac's remodeling, make it a new, younger audience, all that good stuff. And this right now is the current generation one, which started in 2014, and it's now in its third model year in this kind of design language. So it is due for an update soon, but as for right now, they put the carbon black package on it. You got Brembos on the front brakes. Absolutely fantastic car. It drives amazing. There's a lot of things from the underpinning of ZF, which is an amazing German manufacturer for parts, and they make great cars even better. So that's why they put it in the Cadillac, to make it a better car. So back to what I was saying originally, in this price range you have a lot of cars. You have the BMW 5 Series, you have the Mercedes E-Class, you have a high-spec C-Class, you have Jaguars XF. There are a lot of options you can get. So Cadillac has a lot of footing to gain, because they're the American brand. They're, in this sense, the underdog. So let's find out if the CTS with the 2.0 liter turbo generating 268 horsepower can really keep up with the German rivals. Back to you, Freddie. So the inside of the Cadillac CTS is a very comfortable place to be. You got the heads-up display option, and again, this has the carbon black package. So you have this suede steering wheel right here. It gives it a really different feel to any other steering wheel I've ever touched, which is really, really cool. And then of course you have the suede shifter here, which is lovely to the touch. You have all these inserts across the dashboard of this suede Alcantara, and of course you have the carbon fiber inserts right there, and again across the interior of the cabin. But it's a really sharp place to be, very comfortable. It is kind of reminiscent of the ATS, but just in a bigger package, which is pretty much what the CTS is. So if I start it up, very smooth startup. The engine is a little bit more throaty than the ATS thanks to the different tuned exhaust system. Again, it has the same engine, the same transmission. A lot of it's similar to the ATS, but there are some differences, and we'll go over those. You got the same gauge cluster, the same cue system that's been updated throughout the years, and you can do this, and that's, come on, there you go. That's all that matters. Put all your phone belongings in there, whatever you don't want to get stolen by the valet. Close that back there. Of course, you have the auto start stop, which is nice. You have the lane keep assist to stop you from crashing. You have the hazard lights in case you crashed, and then you have the glove box open button, which is there, and that seems like something that is just purely for show. You can see that because the usual latch would just let you do it the first time, but here you gotta press it twice. And then you have the parking assist too, which comes in handy if you don't know how to park. And of course, to help you park as well, you go into reverse, and you have a giant monitor there that gives you the parking camera to help you, again, stop crashing. And then down here, traction control off if you want to get stupid. You have the mode button for your drive modes, and that includes, if you go into the gauge cluster here, you have Tour, Sport mode for your sporty needs, and Snow and Ice, which is actually relevant on this car, unlike the CTS V. If you happen to check out that video, we did the CTS V with Snow and Ice mode. But anyway, you got these paddles right here, these magnesium shift paddles, and I'll get into the intricacies of that as we drive along here. So that's going to move into our next system here. We got the Bose 13 speaker surround sound system, and we're going to go ahead and take her for a drive. I also have the heated steering wheel, which feels very different on the suede steering wheel instead of the leather one. Not that it's necessarily a bad thing at all, because it really isn't. Your hands are warm. It's cold. It's winter. It's Michigan. Ooh. So again, the engine noise is a little bit different than the ATS. You have a little bit more of a throatiness. Feels just as responsive. Everything is the same again. You have the ZF 8-speed automatic. Everything is very comfortable in here, very doable. So as we're driving across some train tracks and a lot of bumpy Michigan-esque roads here, the suspension is a lot more forgiving than the ATS, which is a very nice thing. This is a big, full-size luxury sedan, so you would expect something like that. So the other half of the car is a sports sedan, and that's a balance that is just like good and evil, you know? Like, you want comfort out of a luxury sedan, and then you want to be able to put the foot down when you have your children in the car and they want to see daddy go fast. So we're gonna see how well this car actually balances those two personalities, because with the addition of the carbon black package, it adds a sense of even more sportiness. And this also has the auto start stop feature, so the engine's off right now and it's back on. Very, very smooth system. I praise Cadillac for that in my other reviews as well. But anyway, if we put it into sport mode, see how it's a little bit more throaty than the ATS.
It sounds sportier.
It does. This thing's got some pickup too. It doesn't feel a lot different than the ATS, but it definitely has its individuality here. The throatier engine response is really nice. The throttle picks up very, very nicely. You don't have to tap it too much to get the car to respond, which is really nice. It's a nice touch, because turbocharged engine, you'd think that it would be slow to respond, throttle response would be off, and there'd be a lot of turbo lag. But there actually isn't, and that's, again, the whole ZF system working for you there. They know what they're doing. Now, with all of that praise out of the way, there are definitely some gripes with this car that I have. And one of the main things is, while I'm praising the transmission for one thing, it does have its issues in the sport mode, and that's where they come up. Upshifting is very slow. You do have to shift about 500 RPM short of the red line to get it to shift at the red line. That's how slow the shifts are in sport mode. It is pretty annoying. If I shift down, click, and there's the shift down. It is a little slow for my taste. Shift up, a little sluggish, but you can tune your brain to work for it. Another defeating factor about the CTS as a whole is that it depreciates a lot. And when I say a lot, I mean one of the top 10 most depreciating cars out there right now is a CTS. For example, there was a car on our lot that was for around it was around like in the $40,000 range. It was a 2016, very recent model, but it was in the $40,000 range, and the original sticker on it in 2016 too, this is all the same year, was $73,000. I don't know what happened. It only had like 10,000 miles on it. It had the 3.6 liter, which is the other option that you can get in this car, the 360 horsepower, 3.5 liter V6. feels amazing, get up and go, incredible, but it depreciates so much that it makes me feel deterred away from the car because I don't want that big of a depreciating asset if I'm buying a big luxury car like this. But all around, this is a really good and smooth Grand Cruiser. I'm very, very comfortable in here. The seats are incredibly comfortable. While I said the Alcantara is a bit of a gripe for me, it is very comfortable inside of here. I can drive this wherever. I can take this across the country. The suspension's nice. The driving position is really nice. If someone pulls out and tries to kill me, I can maneuver out of the way very quickly. It's a very well put together car, and I'm very comfortable in here, which I think is the main point of this car. So we're gonna play a game here called Get Me Home for the Love of God, because I am completely lost right now. I have no idea where I am, so we're gonna rely on the Q System's navigation to get me home, which in the end is exactly what it should do. So let's see if we can figure it out. So, I mean, okay, that was good. That was self-explanatory. Destination. Let me try the voice control. Ready?
Say a command or say help.
Navigation.
What type of destination, address, intersection, place of interest, or contact?
Place of interest.
Say the name of the place of interest nearby or say change location.
Suburban Cadillac of Plymouth.
Jim Tucker, Plymouth. Is that correct?
No.
I'm sorry. Let's go back. Say the name of the place of interest nearby or say change location.
Suburban Cadillac of Plymouth.
Command not understood.
Suburban Cadillac of Plymouth.
Zax of Plymouth. Is that correct?
It's 2017. No!
I'm sorry. Let's go back.
No! S-U... Get me home! Yeah, just... So in the end, I think it's safe to say that the CTS is definitely a strong competitor in its class, and it's a great car all the way around, and I do really enjoy this car. As long as I can fix some issues with it, and I think that Cadillac is growing a lot, so all these very minimal issues with the car will be solved at some point in the near future. So very excited to see where that goes. As for right now, the CTS is a very good car, and I thoroughly enjoyed my time with it, except for the Q system. That can definitely be remedied. But if you enjoyed this review, go ahead and browse around the channel about our other reviews. We do have another few Cadillac reviews you can take a look at, all that good stuff. If you enjoyed the review today, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. Those are always nice. And let us know what you thought of the review in the comments below, and I hope that we were able to help you and be more informed about your driving or your purchasing decision. So, take care everyone, we'll see you tomorrow.
Turn right after 2